In this lesson, we're going to look at wage rises, but in particular, wage rises involving percentages. Now, before we do this, we'll look back at percentages because you did it in the last block and some of you may have forgot how to do it. So firstly, percentages without a calculator, and then percentages with a calculator. Then we'll come back to the wage rises. So if you look at this first example here, 10% of £800, we have to think about 10% as a fraction. And to do that, you need to think how many tens go into 100. We can see that 10 tens are 100, so 10% is just a tenth. So to work out a tenth of 800, just divide by 10, and that's nice and easy. And that would just be £80. Same idea with 25%. To get 25%, we need to think how many times it goes into 100, and it goes in 4 times, so that makes it a quarter. So what you do here is 600 divided by 4. And the easiest way to do that is to half 600 twice. So half it to get 300, half it again to get 150. Again, notice I've changed units here because it was centimetres up here, so centimetres down my answer. To get 5%, I'm actually going to start with 10% again. So 10%, divide 180 by 10, that would give you 18. And then to get 5%, we can just half our answer because 5's half a 10, so we half the other side as well, and you would get 9. So 9 grams. There are other ways to do it. You could say how many 5's go into 100, that would be 20, so it would be a 20th. So you could divide that by 20 and get 9 as well. To get 40%, I'm going to start with 10% again. So I'm going to find 10% of £80. So just divide that by 10 and you would get 8. Now 40% is 4 times that amount. So times it by 4 and you're going to get £32. Now to get 3% of 200 litres, I'm not going to start with 10 this time. I'm going to actually start with 1%. Now to find 1%, you could divide by 10 to get 10% and divide by 10 again, but much quicker just to divide by 100. So if I take my 200 and divide by 100, I would get 2. And once I know that, to get 3%, well that's 3 times that amount. So 2 times 3 and you'll get your 6 litres. Last one here, 33 1/3%. Well, how many times does that go into 100? 3 times. So that makes that exactly a third. It's just a fancy way of writing a third. And then divide by 3 and you'll get £9 to finish. Now, a wee quick revision with percentages using a calculator. The good thing here is the technique is the same for all 3 of these questions. So 14% means 14 out of 100. So that's 14 divided by 100, and then you just times it by 245. Type it in your calculator, you'll get your answer. You don't need the brackets in here, you can just write it like that if you want without them. Same with the 6%, 6 divided by 100 times 400, and then go straight to your answer, 24 centimetres. Notice again I've changed units. And even the last one with this 3.6% would be hard without a calculator, but calculator work just the same. 3.6 divided by 100 times 90, and your answer is 3.24 grams. So back to this idea of a wage rise. So wage rises are often given in percentages. So if you look at this first example, £340 is increased by 8%, because that's what a rise would do. It would increase the amount you were getting. So the first thing I need to do is work out what 8% is. And in order to do that, I do 8 divided by 100 times by 340, and I get my increase of £27.20. But I need to remember to add it on, because that's what a wage rise would be. You would take your normal amount, and then you would add on the extra part you're getting. And that would give you a final answer of £367.20. Okay, one last example. We've got this managing director's salary, which was £220,000, a huge salary. This year, ridiculously enough, he's getting a 4% pay rise. What is his new salary? So the first thing you have to do is work out 4% of this. So 4 divided by 100 and multiplied by 220,000, and that works out as 8,800. And what we have to do is remember to add that on to what he had already. So he was already getting 220,000 and he's getting an extra 8,800. So add it all up and you get 228,800 per year, a ridiculous amount of money. Finally, how much is that per month? Well, thinking back to the first lessons, if you divide it by 12, you'll get what he has per month. Again, a huge amount of money, £19,066. And when I put this into my calculator, it came out 0.66666, but I rounded it to 2 decimal places because that's what money is always rounded to.